All right, but Sean, it is raining outside. Yes. I got caught in the rain. Yes.
Oh, when I walked out the house this morning, I could see the rain everywhere. I was excited.
Oh,
My
yes.
grass really needs it.
I don't know if it's in time for my grass, though. Your dirt needs it. We shall see. We shall see. All right, everyone, just give me a moment. I'm going to call the docket, and I'm just waiting to receive my docket. Then we will go forward. Thank you, Norma. You just need to stay there. Okay. All right, I'm going to call the docket. And when I call the docket, please let me know you're here. If you don't answer for the docket, I'm going to assume you're not here and a warrant will be issued for your arrest. In custody, we have Pedro Montemores, Juan Torres Rivera, Rodolfo Aceves. Thank you. How do you pronounce your last name? All right, I'm working on it. Thank you. In custody, we have Clayton Russell. Thank you. Ben Camarino. Ben Camarino. In custody, we have Ariel Reyes, Gabriel Gobart, Renee Garza Jr. Thank you. Fabian Cardenas. Kevin Young. Martha Garcia. Martha Garcia. Caleb Crum. In custody.
I'm sorry, Martha Garcia is in mental health court.
All right, thank you. Jose Soto Victorino is in custody. Michaela Johnson. Christian Smith. In custody, we have Aaron Alvarado, Alvin Mendoza, Ben Camarino, Ben Anthony Camarino, Melvin Owens, Kent Sturgis, custody, Joanna Garcia, 11.
Yes.
All right. Jose Cavazos, that's with McLean. Pierce Jones.
President and Judge, individual that's been competent, so the board is supposed to bring it over. So
Okay. All right, thank you. Noah Moran. Christopher Gonzalez. All right, is there anyone whose name was not called or you came in late?
Judge, it's your opinion, who's supposed to be the docket.
All right, and Mr. Pena here on. All right, Mr. Pena. All right, everyone. Today is Friday's Eve, which means tomorrow is Friday. So there's no reason why everybody shouldn't be in a great mood. To the left are files for criminal trial division. To the right, family violence. Just grab a file and place it on their desk and then have a seat. They'll call you in the order of appearance. If you have someone in custody, you need to request them. If you have someone who wishes to speak in the language other than English, you need to request an interpreter. Everyone, please remember that in the back is the probation officer. Please do not gather around her desk. Place your items on her desk. That's her office. Do not turn your back to her. To the left is the court reporter. Her equipment, it costs $10,000. Do not touch it. Do not bother it. Do not put your papers on it. If you destroy that equipment or damage it in any way, you will have bought that equipment. And please keep the area between this door clear because that's for the deputies to have a line of eyesight. All right, everyone, please confer with kindness in your heart. And when you're ready to proceed, just have the court clerk pull the file and I will hear it. Do not approach the court coordinator for a reset or continuance. I'm the only person who can give that to you. And for those who are waiting for people who are by Zoom, I do have 3 people in the waiting room. So for the parties who are ready for Bianca Barrera in JDC Clinic and Mr. Torres Rivera, let me know.
Yes, Your Honor, for Bianca, and JDC, that's the Center for Healthcare, that's Mr. Jones. I'm still
Okay.
working on getting it with the.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Bowman is being union and new chart.
Okay,
I don't know what he's under.
all right, he's not here yet. All right, JD Clinic.
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning. I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, if you could speak up, please.
Okay, can you hear me better?
Yes, so we're still waiting for the client to appear in court. So is he going to appear in court or is he going to be by Zoom?
Judge, if it's allowable, because he is at that boarding home, by Zoom, I can send him the info. I did speak with him yesterday. He said he was gonna try to make it here, but
All right, if he's not here, you can have him by Zoom.
okay, Judge, I'll give him a call.
All right. So to the clinic, I'm going to put you back in the waiting room. They're going to try to get their client here, okay?
Yes, Judge.
Thank you. Bianca,
Yes, ma'am. I'm with the clinic as well.
all right, I don't see your video.
Let me get that on.
Ben, come on. Ben.
And Mr. Cisneros,
Yes, sir.
you say that you have, your client needs an interpreter?
Yes, ma'am. We've already ordered.
All right, thank you. All right, thank you. Hi, good morning.
Yeah, Getting that. And he's never quite this, he's been on full house of work.
Big extension?
Oh.
All right, just let me know when you're ready.
Yes, we're waiting for the officer,
Okay,
the SAPD officer, and I'll be right here on the call once she okay.
okay, all right. Ah. Oh, stop. All right, who's here on Christopher Gonzalez?
I am, Your Honor. Morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. And Mr. DeLeon, this is a motion, correct?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
All right, do you happen to have a copy of your motion?
Sure do.
Thank you.
It's a motion to amend conditions of bond, Your Honor.
Okay.
He's on a GPS monitor.
All right, State, are you ready to proceed on this?
If I can just have 1 second to pull a copy of the motion.
Okay, sure. He's just asking that the GPS monitor be removed. He's currently on tracking.
Yes, you can be opposed to.
Okay.
Yes, I talked to Brittany Mitchell yesterday and she said she would be opposed to it.
Okay, all right. Dinah, are you ready? Court is calling 2022 CR 10364, State of Texas versus Christopher Lee Gonzalez. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Ruben Herrera for the state.
Defense?
Michael DeLeon for Mr. Christopher Gonzalez.
All right, we're here on a motion to amend conditions of bond. State, are you ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, defense is your motion. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Gonzalez has been on a GPS monitor for 2 years. The allegations, which we highly dispute, involve a teenage child that lived in his neighborhood. There's no family relationship. Mr. Gonzalez has since moved from that neighborhood. The child, if I'm correct, doesn't even live in that neighborhood anymore. So he has never had any other contact with this alleged complainant. And in the past 2 years, he's had no violations while he's on his GPS monitor. So we believe it's not necessary to have it. It's a burden on him to have that GPS monitor. As the court is aware, I was appointed to this case about 6 weeks ago. And we believe we're respectfully asking that the GPS monitor be removed, no contact order obviously remain in place. And me and Ms. Mitchell are continuing to confer.
All right. And what's the burden for having a GPS tracking?
The burden is, number one, just the cost of it. But additionally to that, it's been on his ankle. He's complained to me that it's, very painful for him to have it on his ankle and it's been for 2 years. And here, I believe that there's just no danger to any alleged complainant or the community. And he's demonstrated after the past 2 years that he's never had any issues.
All right, state.
State would be opposed. The defendant is charged with aggravated sexual assault of a child. The child is cooperative in this case. And given the severity of the charge, Your Honor, we believe the defendant presents a danger to the community and ask that at the very least, tracking GPS be continued in order to be able to monitor the location of the defendant while the search.
All right, so how is he, I understand the nature of the charge, but how is he necessarily a danger to community? Because everybody who's charged with a criminal offense technically would be a danger to the community. And then everybody should be on GPS if they have a criminal charge.
Your Honor, it's alleged that that the child victim was a stranger to the defendant, that he approached the defendant and asked for sexual favors in exchange for cash to a complete stranger. So given that relationship, Your Honor, that's the basis of the state's objection.
But the purpose of a GPS monitor is to make sure that he has no contact with the complainant or the complainant's area. This is a stranger relationship, Your Honor. Of course, we dispute the allegations, but there's been no danger to this complainant. There's no danger to the community. And it's been 2 years. He's demonstrated that he will do everything the court has asked him to do. No violations at all.
Any violations, state?
Not that I'm aware of. Your Honor.
All right. So, Mr. Gonzalez,
Yes, sure.
if you do a drug test today, what are the results going to be? All right, let's do a drug test. All right.
Sounds good. Thank you, Your Honor.
Sure.
Additionally, he's got an actual setting on Tuesday of next week, Your Honor. So eventually I'm going to ask the court that he not come back next Tuesday. Me and Ms. Mitchell are continuing to confer. And my belief is the state's going to be talking to their complainant sometime this week or maybe next week. And that will help with the process of what we're conferring on. FYI.
All right. All right. So take care of that for me, and then we'll come back and I'll make a decision on your motion.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Armando Ramon is in the, who is this client?
He's the one that's.
Okay. All right. Okay. Mr. Ramon?
Yes, Your Honor.
Hi, your client is buzzing in, but we need to have him to start his video. Can you call over to the jail and let them know that? And Mr. Ramon, do you need to speak with your client before we proceed?
No, Your Honor, I don't. I'll speak to him afterwards.
All right. Who's here on Alvin Mendoza? Mr. Navy, are you sleeping? Yes.
Much better.
So how old is the baby now?
A little bit over a year now.
Oh my gosh. Walking, getting into everything. They do seek out danger, but they don't recognize it as danger. What is a sofa made for other than jumping off of let me climb on something? All right, so what's happening with this case?
Judge, from the last setting, it was reset to today for discovery compliance.
Yes,
All that discovery has been provided.
okay.
We do have an offer, just asking for a reset so that I can go over all of that new discovery with my client and make a decision on whether or not we're going to accept or reject that offer, Judge.
All right, Ms. Ferguson. And I'm sorry, Mr. Mendoza, how old are you?
21.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, can I have a 30-day reset for plea deadline date? All right, we'll be back on October 9th. On October 9th, at that time, you need to let the court know whether or not you're accepting the state's offer. At that point, the court will not consider any plea bargain agreements without good cause. Otherwise, you have to plea open to the court. Do you understand? All right, is there anything else?
No, Judge, that's it.
All right, thank you. Have a good one.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
All right, could I see the file on Taurus Rivera, please? All right, who are the, could I see a family violence prosecutor?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, my understanding is that with regards to this case, there's going to be someone was going to look into whether or not mental health court would accept him.
Yes, Your Honor.
And
So let me check on the status.
Your Honor, he did go through the evaluation process. He was accepted into the program. He was going to be housed, however, or staffed, as they say, staffed. I believe the district attorney's office did not accept the case being moved to mental health court. That's my understanding, Your Honor.
all right,
I believe that's correct. Your Honor.
all right. I don't know why they wouldn't accept you in the mental health court and you have mental health issues, but thank you. And they don't tell me a reason why they rejected you. They're just like rejected. I guess sometimes when they think things are a hard case, they're like, we're not going to work with it because they don't give me a reason why they rejected you. So, Mr. Torres Rivera, you have a plea bargain agreement with the state where they're offering you deferred adjudication. So I guess I'm going to have to work with it. All right.
Yes, Your Honor.
So is calling 2023 CR 0789 State of Texas versus one Carlo Torres Rivera. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state
Ruben Murrah for the state.
defense?
Armando Roman, Your Honor, for the defense.
And Mr. Torres Rivera, if you can unmute yourself, please. All right. And Mr. Rahman, are you able to show your video or no?
Your Honor, I have it as showing, but I don't know why it's blacked out. I don't know if it's a problem with my camera.
All right, let me stop your video on this end and then request that you restart it. Oh, do you have the slide on the top?
No.
No. Or the camera, are you on a computer or a phone?
Computer.
Do you have the camera that you press down in the top and then it pops up?
No.
Yeah, he doesn't have any of that. We've reached the limit of our skills. All right, any objection to Armando Ramon appearing by video?
No objection.
Any objection to his client appearing by video?
No objection.
Any objection to Mr. Ramon not having his video up?
No objection.
All right. So according to the plea bargaining agreement that you entered into on July 11th, it was to a misdemeanor, assault, injury, family violence, household. You entered a plea of no contest. The state is recommending deferred adjudication. Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client,
No, Your Honor.
state?
Nothing, yeah, nothing from the state, Your Honor.
All right, probation.
No, no.
I threw you off, right, by asking you. Because now we're gonna have to figure out what services we can provide for Mr. Torres, because obviously he has mental health issues. Mr. Torres, can you raise your right hand for me, please?
Yes, ma'am.
You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Lord, you can lower your hand and make sure you keep your voice up so the court reporter can hear. Could you state your name for the record?
Giancarlo Rivera.
Mr. Rivera, do you have a place to live if you were released today?
Yes, ma'am.
Where would you be? Well, who would you be living with?
With my mom.
All right. Does your mom want you living with her?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you asked?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Who else is in the household other than your mother?
My two brothers,
And how old are they?
120, 115.
20 and 15?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any children?
No, ma'am.
What's your mental health diagnosis?
I understand that, man.
Well, what are people saying your mental health is?
My dad told me that I need help. My mom too. So
No, I mean, are you bipolar? Or is somebody saying you bipolar? Are they saying you're schizophrenic? What are they saying?
no, I said the anxiety and depression.
Okay. Have you ever been employed?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Doing what?
U-Haul.
I'm sorry, what?
U-Haul.
What does that mean?
U-Haul, Your Honor.
I mean, what does that mean?
Cleaning storage.
I'm sorry, what? Doing storage?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what do you do with storage?
Cleaning
How far did you go in school?
to graduate.
All right, any other questions from anyone?
Not from the state.
Mr. Ramon, any questions?
No questions, Your Honor.
All right, I'll sentence you to 2 years deferred adjudication. Affirmative finding of family violence. There's to be no contact with Yaritza, Yaritza Rivera Ortiz. Anger management. Probation, if you could do a referral to Center for Healthcare Services. Proof of employment within 30 days. There's to be no employment as a home healthcare provider with minors. There's to be no unsupervised contact with minors. Regular reporting by Zoom or in person. Regular UAs. Field visits. And the field visits will be in place until he gets a case manager from Center for Healthcare Services. So there'll be field visits one time every 2 months. Probation, is there anything else?
Your Honor, can we do I want to do a paper call.
Yes. And a MIC referral. All right, did you want that in custody or out of custody? All right, that'll be a MIC referral out of custody. Mr. Rivera, if you do not make these appointments, what's going to end up happening is a warrant could be issued for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, is there anything else you need from the court to be successful?
No, ma'am.
I'm sorry?
No, ma'am.
All right, did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendants' Rights to Appeal with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a plea bargaining agreement, because I followed your plea bargaining agreement, because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you. I am going to place you in breakout room number 1. Mr. Rivera, from here on out, communication is very important. If you have a question about something, if you feel probation is not addressing that, you can always come to the court. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm going to move you to breakout room number 1.
Your Honor, if I may bring something up, I just want to clarify something.
Yes.
You mentioned no contact with Yaritza Rivera. I thought it was no harmful or injurious contact with Yaritza Rivera because that's his mom.
No, in the plea bargain agreement, there's no contact with her. If you would like that to be lifted, then she'll need to zoom in or come into court and I'll need to have a conversation with her. But your plea bargain agreement is for no contact.
Okay, Your Honor, we'll do that.
All right, I'll move you all to breakout room number 1.
Thank you, Your Honor. After that, Your Honor, may I be excused?
Yes, you can be excused from the breakout room.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, Mr. Torres, do you know how to go to the breakout room? All right, did you see something pop up requesting that you go to the breakout room? You're muted. Yes, there was a request sending you to the breakout room.
Yeah, but
Just click on join.
okay.
Ask the deputy behind you. There's a deputy behind you. Ask him to place you in the breakout room.
Okay.
Thank
Let me
you.
open, sir.
And the breakout room.
No, a breakout room. I'll put you
Yeah.
in the breakout room right now, sir.
Thank you.
Sure.
Court is calling 2023 CR 4580, State of Texas versus Rodolfo Aceves. Aceves. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Miranda Carrillo for the state of Texas.
And Johnny Cisneros for Mr. Aceves.
Are you Mr. Aceves?
Sí, mi jurado. Sí, mi jurado.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we have an interpreter here. Could you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will faithfully translate from Spanish into English and English into Spanish, so help you God?
I do, Your Honor.
All right, you can lower your hand if you'll state your name for the record.
Carmen Tarragona Nazar.
Thank you. All right, we are here for sentencing. The defendant entered a plea of no contest to count 1 and count 2. The court found there was sufficient evidence to find him guilty. According to the plea bargain agreement, punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 10 years in the prison. There's a $1,000 fine, and the state opposes the defendant's applications. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report? State,
Yes, Your Honor. I have.
defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections to the PSI report? State,
No, Your Honor.
defense? All right, state, do you have any witnesses?
Yes, Your Honor. First, I do have states exhibits 1 and 2, which are just images that I'd like to provide. Defense has seen them.
Any objections?
No objections, Your Honor.
All right, states exhibits 1 and 2 are admitted into evidence.
Your Honor. And at this time, the state would call Matt Porter.
All right, Matt Porter. Can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Matthew Porter.
All right, state,
Thank you, Judge. Mr. Porter, could you introduce yourself to the judge, who you are and what you do?
I'm a sergeant with the San Antonio Police Department, currently working the Fusion Center. I've been assigned there for 2 years and I've been on the department for 22 years.
And briefly, can you explain what the Fusion Center is and what your job is there?
It's a,
I'm sorry. All right, could you make sure you keep your voice up?
yes, ma'am.
All right.
So it's essentially a real-time watch center. We watch out for any threats of mass targeted violence, any threats to citizens. Once we're made aware of these threats, we begin to work them and support follow-up units.
What kind of training do you receive to do that?
So we go to various training. One of the trainings is through the FBI called Making Prevention a Reality. And it's a program dedicated to stopping threats of mass targeted violence.
And how did you come to be involved in that?
Just 1 second. So I always try to make people's job as easy as possible. So I can hear the interpreter interpreting. So once he answers the question, if you hear silence from the interpreter, it will make her job so much easier if you will then ask your next question, because otherwise it's
Yes.
quick for her. Okay.
Sorry. How did you come to be involved in Rodolfo Aceves?
This threat was
Okay. Listen to her. Yes. All right.
the threat was brought to our team and we began working with homicide on this case.
And why was it brought to you? Why was it a case that was flagged for you?
It was a threat of mass targeted violence. So there was people that reported it to police that were concerned for their well-being and the well-being of others.
And what did you look at when it was brought to you? What, were there any flags or anything that made you research further?
So once we received the threat, we started looking into it. And there were behavioral indicators by the defendant that caused a lot of alarm. And as we began to dig deeper, we saw indicators that, hey, he is on the pathway to violence, and that it's more than like mere preparation. There was leakage to coworkers. There was a fixation on past mass targeted violence incidents such as Uvalde and Columbine. There was the purchase of firearms, the practicing on using these firearms. So when our team started looking at this, it was very concerning.
When you say leakage to coworkers, what do you mean by that?
There was an incident at his place of employment where I believe a fire alarm went off, and he made a comment to a fellow coworker that this would be a good time to conduct a mass shooting.
Having seen these flags, what were your actions after that?
Well, initially, that statement alone is one thing, but when you put that together with everything else that we saw, it was certainly alarming from our standpoint and for public safety.
In your job, do you see or evaluate a lot of these situations?
Yes, ma'am.
And are there some that you see as mere statements and others that you see, as you mentioned earlier, statements plus
Yes,
actions?
we take each one seriously, and we look at the totality of the circumstances in each case that's brought to us. And in some cases, it's just a comment, and we're able to see that pretty early on. This particular case, that wasn't the circumstances that we found, and it was just very concerning.
You remain involved in the Rodolfo Aceves case?
Yes, we do.
And what does that entail?
Just follow-ups with family, making sure there's no other criminal activity that's been taking place with him that would bring concern to us and to public safety.
I have no more questions.
Depends.
How many people reported this to Amazon?
I would have to go back and look. I don't have that in front of me.
Well, you've been involved a lot in the last year and a half. You just testified that you've been really looking into him. And the first question I have, you don't have an answer for? Okay, but that's okay. So, did you speak to Mr. Nate Fisher, who was a supervisor at the time?
I did not.
Did you speak to the person that he allegedly told that he was gonna shoot Amazon?
I did not.
Did you talk to any other witnesses?
I did not.
How many times have you spoken to the family members?
I have not spoken to the family.
How many times have you spoken to my client?
I have not spoken to your client.
What kind of investigation did you do?
I didn't do the investigation. I'm the supervisor over the investigators. So they went out.
So
and
what
did-
you're telling, excuse me for interrupting.
No, go ahead, sir.
So what you're telling me is all hearsay.
Based on my detective's reports, yes.
Okay, and do you have any reports with you that I
I-
can review?
I do not.
You said that, well, when did he purchase his rifle? Did he already have it or did he purchase it after he made that comment?
I don't have those details.
So do you know if he purchased a weapon so he could go kill people or if you were just purchasing it just to target shoot or just to have it?
I can't answer that question.
I don't have any more questions, guys.
Just brief redirect, Your Honor. Just to clarify, you were not involved in the investigation of this case, correct?
Correct.
You work for the fusion unit, which monitors these sorts of potential threats after the fact. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
we manage threats of mass targeted attacks.
No more questions.
I have another question or two. Do you know that Mr. Aceves has been on full house arrest for, oh, let me see, 12, almost 15, 16 months?
Yes, sir.
And how many violations has he had?
None to my knowledge.
And that is correct, just so you'll know. That's the first question I had that you had a good answer for. So knowing that he's had no violations at all in almost 16, 17 months, doesn't that give you a different perspective of Mr. Aceves?
Well, you can look at it two ways, that the mitigation we put in place worked and that we got him off that pathway to violence, or you have to look at it as, is he just behaving to get through this? And that's,
All right, if you could repeat that, please.
you can look at it two ways, that
And I'm sorry, just 1 second. If you could not turn towards him. The only reason why I'm saying that is because she needs to hear you.
Understood, yes, ma'am. The reason for that could be that the mitigations we put in place worked and got him off the pathway to violence, or you could also look at it as he's just trying to get through this time in his life to get past this charge.
You agree with me, do you not, that a piece of paper does not stop someone from killing people?
Yeah, I agree with that. Yes, sir.
And a piece of paper, we could refer to that as the bond paper.
Correct.
And if he really intended to go out and kill people, he would have already left and gone and do something like this, right? Just the fact that he would be granted deferred adjudication, hopefully, does that mean that he's going to go violate that?
I can't answer that.
Okay, no more questions.
All right, any other questions? All right, counsel, is there some documentation that you wanted from this witness that you have not received?
No, ma'am, I'm just wondering why he's here. I mean, he talks about how bad my client is, and yet when I ask him any question, he doesn't know anything about it.
All right, so there's no documentation that he has that you have not received
Not
that
to
you would
my-
like?
Excuse me. for
No.
interrupting. Not to my knowledge, Your Honor.
All right, did you want to ask him about any documentation he has?
Do you have any documentation that
Just my detective's reports.
and have you turned those over to the district attorney's office?
I believe they've been turned over.
Okay.
to the case.
They could be part of my discovery, Your Honor, but that I've seen in discovery, there's nothing that alarming to me.
All right, do you know if he's received his report?
Yes, it should all be uploaded in e-discovery.
All right, thank you so much for coming down.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, state, call your next witness.
State has no more witnesses.
All right, defense, do you have any witnesses?
Yes, I have Mr. Rodolfo Seves Senior, Your Honor.
All right. If you'll call him to come forward.
Yes. La respuesta en español. Sí, claro.
No, you're doing double duty. All right, could you raise your right hand for me? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes,
Your Honor.
All right, you can lower your hand if you'll state your name for the record.
Rodolfo Valdivia Pérez.
Rodolfo Valdivia Pérez.
Mr. Perez, what,
Oh, just 1 second. So do you need to speak so he can understand the questions?
Oh, okay.
I mean, because
he understands English, but you can say it out loud so he can hear.
Okay.
Please.
Diga su nombre para las actas, por favor.
all right, you can ask your questions.
Mr. Perez, what is your relationship to Rodolfo Aceves?
Es mi hijo.
He's my son.
And has he ever been in trouble before?
Nunca,
Never,
He's never been arrested for any misdemeanors?
nunca,
never,
Has he ever been arrested for any felonies?
nunca.
never.
Has he ever been in a fight in school?
No, que yo sé.
Not that I know of.
Has he ever been in a fight in the neighborhood?
Tampoco.
Not that either.
Has he threatened you or any of your family members?
No, a nadie.
No, nobody.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about your son, please? It'll probably go a little faster.
¿Puede repetírmelo?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Oh, can you please tell me something about your son? Tell the court something about your son so we can know who your son is.
Siempre ha sido normal, un buen hijo.
He's always been normal, a good son.
Nosotros, como papá y mamá, les hemos tratado de llevar a buen camino.
As a mom and dad, we have tried to guide them the right way, the right path.
Jamás habíamos tenido ningún problema de nada.
We had never had any kind of problem before.
Todo fue una sorpresa para nosotros. A él le gusta bromear mucho.
This was a surprise to us. He likes to joke a lot.
Does he suffer from depression?
Tuvo un tiempo con depresión y
He was depressed
ansiedad.
he was depressed and anxious for a while.
So you're telling us that he suffers from anxiety also?
Estuvo un tiempo con eso. Eso vino de ayudándome a trabajar. Absorbió cloro. Polio.
Yeah, that he had that for a while. He helped me at work and he smelled chlorine.
And that affected his life?
Un tiempo estuvo con ansiedad por ese motivo.
For a while,
Creía que le iba a hacer mal.
For a while, he had anxiety due to that because he thought it was going to harm him.
Do you think that your son would be a good candidate to successfully complete a probationary period should the court give him deferred adjudication, which is another term for probation?
100%.
100%.
Now, to your knowledge, has he violated any conditions of his pretrial release?
No, nada. Y cuida mucho eso. Te preocupa mucho.
No, nothing at all. And he's very concerned about that.
And he has been restricted to full house arrest, has he not?
Sí.
Yes.
100%.
100%.
And are you asking Her Honor to grant your son deferred adjudication and that you will help him successfully complete the probationary period?
Sí, de mi corazón.
Yes, from the bottom of my heart.
I pass the witness, Your Honor.
Mr. Ostevas, hi, my name is Miranda. I'm one of the assistant district attorneys. I just have a few questions for you. Were you aware that your son had firearms in his room at your residence?
Sí, sabe.
Yes, I did know.
Do you know when he purchased those firearms?
Ah, cuando cumplió 18 que la podía comprar legalmente.
When he turned 18 and he could purchase them legally.
Was that close to the time that this incident happened?
No, fue mucho antes.
No, it was way before.
Or would you say way before, that be months or years?
No estoy muy seguro, no años.
I'm not too sure, but not years.
When this incident occurred, he was around 18 years old still, correct?
Ah, como 19.
Like 19, I believe.
You mentioned that your son likes to joke a lot. What did you think about the statement that he made to his coworkers?
Que fue una broma.
That it was a joke.
Did you find it to be a joke?
No.
No.
I have no more questions, Your Honor.
Defense, any questions?
Did you find this, and we spoke about it several times before, and I think the term that you used to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you found it to be stupid of what he said. Do you still feel that way?
Sí, sí.
Yeah, yes, yes.
And in fact, that's what you told me when you first hired me, did you not?
Correcto.
Correct.
And you forgot to tell the prosecutor that because you didn't want to tell her, or you're just nervous or you just forgot.
Tal vez estoy nervioso.
Maybe I'm nervous.
No more questions.
Any further questions?
I don't.
I have a question if there are no objections.
No objection.
How far did your son go in school?
Mm,
I'm
La
reading the
más-
report that says ninth grade.
Sí, yo creo que sí.
Yes, I believe so.
Su mamá es la que más se dedica con.
The mom is the one who's more in charge of that.
All right, why didn't he finish school?
Quería trabajar, quería.
He wanted to work, he wanted to.
So you allowed him not to be in school at ninth grade?
Le sugerimos que se quedara en la escuela.
We suggested to him to
Todos.
stay in school.
Todos están nuestros hijos en la escuela.
All our children are in school.
Except for him?
Sí, excepto él, que porque quería trabajar.
Yes, except him because he wanted to work.
All right, I have no further questions.
No more questions. Your Honor.
No more questions. Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Mercedes.
I called Miss Mercedes Aceves.
And does she need an interpreter as well?
Yes, Your Honor.
Let me ask her. Excuse me. If you come up here, sir. Do you need an interpreter, sir?
Only, something para hablar, mi jurado.
Just to speak, Your Honor.
All right, so are you able to understand the questions that are being asked in English?
Yes, Your Honor.
And are you able to understand the answers that are being given in English?
Sí, mi jurado.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. All right, so then, sir, I'm sorry if you'll step back there. And that will make it easier for the interpreter. Can you raise your defense? Can you call your next witness?
Miss Mercedes Aceves, Your Honor.
What's the first name?
Mercedes.
All right,
Mercedes.
thank you. Could you raise your right hand for me? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I swear.
All right, you can lower your hand. Defense?
Ms. Aceves, what is your relationship to Rodolfo Aceves Jr.?
Soy madre de Rodolfo.
I am Rodolfo's mother.
And it's come to our attention that your son suffers from depression and anxiety.
I'm sorry, can you repeat? I got confused.
It has come to our attention that your son suffers from depression and anxiety. Is that correct?
Correct.
Has that depression and or anxiety ever caused him to threaten to kill anyone?
No. No.
Has it caused him to threaten to hurt anyone?
No. No.
Has your son been a good boy all his life?
See. Yes.
Tell me a little bit, and tell the court, please, a little bit about your son so the judge can understand what kind of a young man she's looking at. And instead of my asking you questions, just give us a short version of your son's life, and it'll go a little bit faster now.
Sí, yo puedo mencionar que él siempre ha sido respetuoso
I can mention that he has always been respectful
con su padre, su madre, sus hermanos.
towards his father, his mother, his siblings.
En su escuela nunca tuve queja de que respetara a algún maestro o algún alumno.
When he was in school, I never had a complaint that he disrespected a teacher or a student.
Es muy buen hijo conmigo, siempre me ayuda.
He's a very good son to me. He always helps me out. I don't know what else.
Does he live with you right now?
Sí.
Yes.
Okay, you know he has been under full house arrest for the last 17 months, 16 and a half, 17 months. And has he violated any of those conditions or orders from the court?
No, siempre ha respetado el estar ahí en su domicilio y
No, he's always respected being there at home.
No more questions.
Any questions?
Yes, for clear. Hi, ma'am. My name is Miranda. I'm an assistant district attorney. Just have a couple of questions for you.
sí.
Yes.
Are you aware of what your son was being charged with here today?
Pues, exactamente, no.
Not exactly.
So are you
No sé
aware?
qué gravedad.
I don't know how serious it is.
Okay. And are you familiar with what he's being accused of doing at his job at the Amazon warehouse?
Sí.
Yes.
How do you feel about that?
Me preocupa, o sea, lo que fue una palabra que se entendió de otra forma.
I'm worried that it was a word that was understood in a different way.
Pero yo sé que en su corazón y en sus planes no está hacer daño a nadie.
But I know that in his heart and in his plans, it's not in him to harm anybody.
And do you know that he had firearms? That he owned firearms in his room in your home?
Sí.
Yes.
Do you know when he purchased those?
Pues fue poco después de cumplir 18 años.
It was a little after he turned 18.
Did he practice with those often?
Al principio fue 2 o 3 veces al lugar donde podía practicar.
At the beginning, he went 2 or 3 times to the place where he could practice.
I have no more questions, then.
No more questions.
All right. I just have a couple of questions,
Yes,
if
ma'am.
there's no
No
objection.
objections.
All right. Why did you allow your son to drop out of high school?
Yo permití que saliera de la escuela porque estaba planeando hacer el examen para tener su diploma más rápido.
I allowed him to drop out of school because he was planning to take the test to get his diploma quicker.
All right, now are you aware he never did that?
Sí estaba, sí lo sé, estaba.
Yes, I know.
Ujú. Él entró a trabajar y dijo que al mismo tiempo lo iba a estar haciendo, pero
He
pasó el problema.
He started working and he said he would be doing it at the same time, but then the problem happened.
All right. And do you have any weapons in your home now?
No.
No.
All right. Any other questions?
No.
All right, thank you.
Gracias.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other witnesses?
No, ma'am.
Any witnesses?
Just argument, Your Honor.
So before we get to the argument part, I can tell you both, this is a very difficult case for me because he's young. I see that there's some mental health issues, but I also have some concerns about the safety of the public. So what I would like, if it is possible, for the state or somebody, the witness in the police report, as I always reread, the person that he said this to, is it possible to have them available in person or by Zoom by the 21st?
I can look into that, Your Honor.
All right, will there be any objection if they can only get the witness by Zoom?
In fact, Your Honor, I was gonna call her last night because my understanding in speaking to my client is that she wants to come testify on his behalf. But I didn't want to call her because I didn't want it to be, even though I know I'm allowed to speak to witnesses, but there's also a protective order. And I didn't want it to look like I am calling her on behalf of him, and then he gets arrested for a violation of a protective order. So I thought she was gonna be here this morning,
All right,
but yes, ma'am.
so I'm going to recall this case for September 21st. We can go off the record. Mr. Cisneros, I know there's a medical issue with your wife. Is that a good time? And state, I'm saying the 21st because I think maybe that'll give you more chance to get your witness. But if you can get your witness sooner and you all want to bring it back sooner than the 21st, just let Ms. Ferguson know the only time that is not good would be on Wednesday, the 20th.
The 21st is good for now, Your Honor. I don't know that my wife will be better by next week, but I have a lot of cases next week anyway. So I'll try to see if we can bring her in on the 18th. With your permission, I'd like to have permission to call her and not violate any protective order.
Sure. And the state said that they will call her as well.
Right.
So if you all want to see if she can come in on the 18th, just let Norma know. I'll say September 21st, but if you all are able to get her here on the 18th, just let Ms. Ferguson know and we'll put it down for that date.
And the PSI report shows that they've been trying to contact her and she wasn't responding.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, and then they may call you to try to get it sooner. Thank you. Yes.
Maybe excuse.
Yes, thank you so much.
It's always our pleasure.
All right. Who's here on Christopher Crum? Oh, sorry. I don't know why. I just gave some different name. All right. What's happening with this case?
Judge, we have the APS and the CPS records. They were about 2,000 pages long. I need a little bit more time to go over those. State has no objection.
Okay. Ms. Ferguson, on this case, can you give them a plea deadline date for the first week in October? And this will be the last reset, and this is your plea deadline date.
Can't promise you I won't ask for more time just because it is a lot, Judge, and I have two more kids,
usually-
but I understand what you're telling me.
I will tell you, usually with CPS records, a lot of it is duplicates.
I told him, I said, there's a lot of stuff in here that's not pertinent, but there was some good stuff that I might need to get an investigator to look into as well, which is why I can't say, I promise I won't ask for more time, but I understand what you're telling me right now and we'll cross that bridge.
All right, your plea deadline date is October 5th. See you back then.
Thanks,
Just
Judge.
grab a reset form and your excuse.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Is there an interpreter here? Because this is for an interpreter. Jose, yeah. We need an interpreter for that one. Michaela Johnson.
Okay, sure.
We're present, ready, on.
Oh, I'm sorry, Caroline. That needs to go on that file. All right. So an offer is due today.
We just made an offer, Judge.
Okay. And I need a discovery acknowledgement.
Yes, Judge.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, can I have a 30-day reset on Johnson plea deadline date, please? All right, your plea deadline date is October 19th. On that date, you need to let the court know whether or not you're accepting the offer. After that date, the court will not consider any offers without good cause. Otherwise, you have to plead open to the court. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, we'll give you your reset form. You're welcome.
Sturgis and Christopher Gonzalez.
All right, could I see Renee Garza?
Morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. Let me just find you on the docket sheet. Yes. All right, we need his attorney back. Ms. Ferguson, if you could get the attorney back on Renee Garza, please.
I just texted him.
All right, we'll wait for your attorney to come back, then we'll take that up. Christopher Gonzalez, are you already on that? What's the UA result?
As promised, negative.
Okay. All right, we're going to go on the record in 2022 CR 10364, State of Texas versus Christopher Lee Gonzalez. This is a request for removal of GPS. The court will note that the defendant has been on GPS for over 2 years with no violations. The court is going to grant the order to remove the GPS, but the GPS will be allowed to be removed on September 22nd. Would that give you time enough to get in touch with the complainant and let them know that the GPS is being removed?
That should be enough time, Judge.
All right. All right, Mr. Gonzalez, if you violate the no contact order, what will end up happening is the court will receive a notice. And once I receive that notice, we will have a hearing. And based upon what I hear, you may or may not be hearing your case from the Bexar County Jail. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so you all are due back here on the 19th.
Yes, on Tuesday, Judge.
Yes.
We were asking for a reset
All right.
as the state continued to talk to their complainant.
All right, if you all will get to me a motion for continuance, then the court will sign it.
Okay, I'll get that to you, Your Honor.
All right, is there anything else?
I think I'm gonna say, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor. Have a good day.
Thank you, you too. Pierce Jones.
Yes, Your Honor. This is the individual agreeing by his name.
All right,
They notified me that they are on,
okay.
as well as,
Bianca Barrera.
correct, Judge, from the Senate.
Can you file this motion for defendant to be ordered to jail-based competency restoration program?
Judge, that was just in case the courts didn't want to continue him on an outpatient basis.
Mhm.
So that's where that was us being vigilant and looking worst case scenario that if the
Well, the person who's to determine whether he's supposed to be on outpatient or inpatient would be Judge Carruthers' court,
okay.
not this court.
Okay, Judge, he was set for in this court by y'all last time for the status of his situation. He does have a warrant that was issued by another judge, a magistrate judge at the jail that the pretrial office sent a violation to. So I wanted to bring that to the court's attention. It just stated that he just left the boarding home because he's on full house arrest GPS.
Mhm.
But Your Honor, the issue is that I wanted to bring to the court's attention was that he didn't get his injection on time. He was due to get his medical injection on Friday, September the 8th. That had to be rescheduled. And then this violation occurred in the meantime on the weekend, and then he got his injection on the 11th. So
Okay, Mr. You need to stay on Zoom and show your video, Mr. Jones. Otherwise, you're going to have to appear in court.
is it sure that he's not logged on?
No, he's logged on.
He's logged on. Oh,
Just-
just connectivity issues.
Yes.
Yes, there he is, Judge. Yes. Some audio issues.
So he's been deemed incompetent. Is that correct?
That's correct, Judge. So just a brief background, he was in custody for about 8 months before I got the case. Asked CHCS to evaluate him for outpatient-based competency. Judge Carruthers did allow that because he had some time in custody without being transferred to the state hospital. And CHCS has been seeing him. Ms. Ashley Amasquita was on earlier. She's with the Center for Healthcare and supervises the outpatient-based competency restoration, but she had to attend a screening at 9:45. So she does apologize for having to have been left off, but his case manager, Bianca Barrera, is on Zoom. I believe she can attest to him being compliant with Center for Healthcare Services.
All right, we're going to go on the record. Court is calling 2022 CR 9119, State of Texas versus Piers Jones. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Ruben Herrera for the state.
Renee Munoz on behalf of Pierce Jones.
And Mr. Jones is by Zoom. However, I believe his audio is not working. Defense, can you attest to that being your client?
Yes, Judge, I can attest to such.
All right. State, do you have any objection to the witness appearing by Zoom?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right. Then, Ms. Barrera, if you'll unmute, please. Can you
Yes.
raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, you can lower your hand if you'll state your name for the record.
Bianca Barrera,
All right, and how are you employed?
the Center for Healthcare Services.
All right, and is Mr. Piers Michael Jones under the umbrella of Center for Healthcare Services?
Correct.
Is he in compliance?
Yes.
All right, has he taken his medication?
Yes, he has been medication compliant.
All right, and is that medication through an injection?
Yes, one of the medications is his injection. He also has 2 other medications that he takes as well. And the group home monitors and make sure that he does take those as well. So he's medication compliant.
All right, and if he ever leaves the group home, will the court be notified?
I believe so. He does have his pretrial officer and they're the ones that do that part of the court commitment.
All right, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Is there anything else from either side?
No, Your Honor.
Just a brief question for Ms. Barrera. Hi, Ms. Barrera, Attorney Munoz on behalf of Mr. Jones. Is it y'all's understanding that he was scheduled for the injection on Friday, September the 8th?
Yes, that is correct. And due to a miscommunication between transportation, our drivers in transportation and the front desk, they let him know that the doctor had rescheduled appointments due to not being in the office. And so transportation did not go out. However, he did get scheduled on Monday and he did get his injection.
Okay, that's the only question I had. Thank you, ma'am.
All right, any questions, Dave?
Nothing based on that.
All right, the court is going to ask that the warrant be recalled, and this case needs to be referred to Judge Carruthers because Judge Carruthers will be hearing it until competency is restored.
Yes, Your Honor, understood.
All right, thank you so much for zooming in, Ms. Ferrera. All right,
Thank you,
recall the
Judge.
warrant on that and refer it to Judge Carruthers. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. May be excused.
Yes. Okay. Kevin Young. All right, Kevin Young. Why am I giving this in?
Jason and hey, where's Jason? Hey, Robin, come on.
Okay.
Bye.
All right, just give me a moment. All right, Kevin Young.
Yes.
All right, what's happening with this case?
Judge, I know that early is also in trial, states in trial.
Yes.
I've been trying to get to my admin. We've been in a plea, well, let me just say possible offer plea negotiations.
Mhm.
I know that this was reset when you were out,
Yes.
and we reset it for that purpose. However, I don't believe there's any objection from the defense at this time. If we could just get a small reset that I could have, I haven't been able to get the admin. I have talked to my chief, but I haven't been able to get to the admin.
Okay. How much time are you guys requesting?
I will request at least 2 weeks.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that, Your Honor, as long as it's not during my vacation, that starts on the 22nd.
Is it 22nd of September? When are you back?
I'm back in court on October 4th.
Okay, where are you going?
I'm going to Colorado where it's cool.
Yeah. Now watch when you go there, it's going to be hot.
Yeah.
All right. So if we recall this for October 9th,
That should be.
is that good for everyone? Or October 12th? Or should I put it the week of October 16th?
I don't know, I prefer, well, if it's the week of October 16th, that's fine. I'm just out of town that weekend before, so
Oh, which weekend are you out of town?
the 13th, 14th, 15th, so I'll be back by 16th, 17th. If it's after that Monday, might be better.
All right.
If that's
So October 19th. And this will be the final plea deadline date. After that, it's going to be going to trial.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Ferguson, you put this on October 19th.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Is that okay?
I do have a hearing, motion to quash an indictment in Guadalupe County.
We can put it on the 18th. I'm sorry, not the 18th. It would have to be the 17th then.
17th works perfect.
That's probably Judge.
All right, Norm, if you'll put this on October 17th, and that's the final plea deadline date.
Thank you, Judge.
Your Honor, there's just one little matter. My client brought it up.
Mhm.
He is permitted to work and his time to be back home is 7:30. Unfortunately, when he gets back to the shop, he is supposed to clean off the equipment and everything. And he would like to be able to have the cutoff at 9 o'clock.
Oh, just let pretrial services know he's still at work. If he's on, is he on GPS?
Yes, ma'am,
Mhm.
but I'm a lead, like, so when I get off work, I gotta lock our equipment up, wash all the locks.
No, GPS would be able to show that you're at work.
Okay.
So you just need to tell them you're at work because according to my order, I think it is, he's allowed to work.
Yes.
Okay. If there's any problems, I'll let the court know.
All right.
Appropriate motion. Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Do I call my GPS officer? I'm just asking, because.
I'll talk to you about.
All right, who is here with the interpreter?
Sorry.
Jose Jared Soto Victorino.
Your Honor.
Is he in custody?
Yes.
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning. Always good to see you.
See you too, Judge.
So I've been told that the feds are not picking this case up.
That's correct, Judge.
So where are we?
So Judge, I'd made an offer previously, defense made a counter offer today. I was gonna ask for a very short amount of time just to consider it.
How much time are you asking for?
A week.
All right, Ms. Ferguson.
And Judge, and I believe the co-defendants in this case are set next week. Would we be able to do it either not next Monday, but the following Monday, or a different day than the co-defendants?
All right, when are the co-defendants set?
They're set on the 21st. And yeah, like he explained, we strategically like to do it on a different day.
So do you want it on the 18th or 19th?
That should work, Judge.
The 18th or 19th?
Yes, Judge.
Ms.
The
Ferguson?
19th, I'm out on the 18th.
Okay, Ms. Ferguson, can you recall this for September 19th?
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Thank you. All right, and everyone, that will be the final plea deadline date. Is the attorney here on Renee Garza?
I'm here, Judge.
All right, Mr. Garza. All right, so we keep having a problem with your client drinking.
I understand, Judge. Well, allegedly, Judge.
All right. Well, is there a test he can do today for alcohol? All right, I'm not going to sign this motion to withdraw until he goes over and gives me a UA to see if he's positive for alcohol today.
Your Honor, those results will not be immediate. They will take a couple of days for them to come back.
Okay, all right.
So if he's going today, probably won't be back until Tuesday or Wednesday of next week.
All right, so he needs to go over there today and do a UA for alcohol. And what's the distance from here to there?
It's not too far from the jail, Judge.
Oh, okay. So you should be able to get there before 11. So you need to be over there before 11 today. And then we're going to come back and you say a couple of days?
If you would, Your Honor, come back on next Thursday, that will ensure that it's.
All right, so we're going to sit it on the 21st, and I'm not going to sign this until I get the results of that UA.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
So Ms. Ferguson, can you give them a reset for the 21st?
Is it going to be for contested as well again, or is it separate contested today?
You can put it as a contested. And we'll see where we are.
And he has to be in person, correct?
Yes.
He's coming in from Houston.
Yes, to be in person. All right, so you need to get a UA done today for alcohol before 11. Okay. All right, thanks.
There may be a little wait at the facility, Judge, but.
I mean, he'll be there before 11, Judge.
Yes,
Yeah, he's gonna go directly there.
yes. And I'm sure they'll have him sign in and he'll have the time on there.
Wonderful. And then we're just, at that point, he can return to Houston.
Yes. And then come back here on the 21st.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Who's here on Kent Sturgis?
That's Michael Bergeron.
Oh, Mr. DeLeon?
Yeah.
Are you conferring on Mr. Sturgis?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Let's see.
So what is happening with Mr. Sturgis?
Judge, I have an update for the court. As the court is aware that I was appointed to Mr. Sturgis's case. He's been placed on probation here out of the 187th.
Yes.
However, he does have a warrant out of Guadalupe County for choking strangulation. I have confirmed with Guadalupe County that they do want him to be over there. They have told us, they have told me personally that Bexar County Sheriff's Office needs to send a notice to them for Guadalupe to come pick him up from the Bexar County Jail.
Okay.
I tried myself to contact Bear County Jail. It is not an easy process.
Mhm.
The sheriff will not answer his phone and, or any of his deputies, and they are, eventually after a long time on the phone, they eventually send me to a voicemail and I never get a call back.
Just one moment. Could we go off the record, please? All right, who's here on Noah Moran?
Sheriff is going to take care of it.
All right, thank you. And Vashon, on Mr. Sturgis, he's already been evaluated for felony drug courts, because I know it says remain in custody for felony drug court evaluation. That's been taken care of, correct? Because I don't want him to have anything holding him from being transferred to Guadalupe County. Just make sure that's lifted. All right, thank you. All right, on this case, he had a plea deadline date. Is he requesting a jury trial or is he going to enter a plea?
Judge, we're still waiting for a case that may be coming up. We did see that it's making its way up the pipeline to be indicted.
What case is this?
It is an injury to child reckless. It's still awaiting indictment. It looks like it was sent to the 186 and it's being investigated there at this point, Your Honor. So the family violence prosecutors in this courtroom don't know what the status is of that case yet. We're waiting on if it will be transferred in here, which I'm assuming it will.
Okay, that's a third-degree felony. The aggravated robbery is the first-degree felony. So where are we on the aggravated robbery case?
Still been waiting to see on that other case before we start discussing.
No, but I mean, that may be here months from now. Who is the prosecutor on Noah Moran for the aggravated robbery? All right, so are there any other alleged aggravated robberies coming down, or everything has come down from the criminal trial division?
I believe from the criminal trial division side, everything's come down.
All right, so did criminal trial division make an offer?
No, yeah, Your Honor, I believe that Mr. Acevedo has been conferring with family violence since that family violence case was out there.
Mhm.
And so I believe it's a first.
No, it's third.
Sorry.
So
It's Thursday.
state, if you all will make your offer on these cases, because these are first degree felonies. And what I'm going to do is, are you able to make an offer today?
I will be able to, yes. ma'am.
All right, so we're going to recall this back, and this is going to be recalled back on October 5th, and that's your plea deadline date. And the court is not going to accept any plea bargain agreements after that date. I don't know when whatever case is coming down the pipeline with family violence, so that's where we are.
Okay, Judge.
So Norma, if you give them a reset form for October 5th for plea deadline date, please.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes. Yes.
He was evaluated, I believe, accepted, and was transferred back because of the matter in Guadalupe County.
Okay, awesome. All right, thank you. All right, who's here on Jarrett Pena? All right, so where are we on this case?
Judge, this is actually my first sitting. I was here trial last week, so we reset it today. I've got an offer from the state. We're not ready to accept that offer right now. I think the state is maybe going to look at it a little bit closer. I've made an argument that it ought to be dismissed.
Okay.
And they're going to reconsider that. So I'd like another time to come back, and then we'll, at that time, I'll know for sure what we're going to do.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, you call Pena back on October 5th for a plea deadline date?
Judge, can I have it the following week? I have a trial I've got to do that week. I've got a murder case I've got to do in the 289th that week, special setting.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, if you're going to recall then this for the following week in October, what date?
Any day that week is fine.
All right, and it'll be the week of October 9th.
That would be great.
All right, October 12th is going to be your plea deadline date.
Okay, good, thank you.
Thank you. After you sign the reset form, you're excused. All right, off docket matter. Aiden Garcia, what is this about?
My birthday,
Yes.
I've conferred their unopposed, Mr. Escobar, 2 seconds ago. And then they also signed the order if the judge would consider that.
Okay, this need to be sent to Judge Nahara. He'll be able to do it today. Okay. All right, Ms. Ferguson, if you can have this sent to Judge Nahara. And then for everyone else, we're recessing exactly at 12. Ashley Caballero.
This is a compliance hearing.
Yes.
Your original conditions of probation indicated that if inpatient treatment was got recommended for Ms.
Yeah.
To come back to court for more direction. The top did come back and it is recommending intensive outpatient treatment, monthly urinalysis, and documented sober support meetings. Since being at the jail, she presented to me also since being at the jail, she presented to me a parenting class that she's completed already.
All right, is there any inpatient support for her, maybe with women at Alpha Home or somewhere of that nature? Because the problem is you've been clean and sober because you're at the jail. So I'm trying to find a place for you where you cannot be around the same people, places, and things.
I was looking into Casa Mia.
Okay, yes.
And, I was trying to.
Casa Mia would be a great place.
I've been looking into it, just try to see if I could get into it, or y'all could send me there or something.
All right. Is there any way we can check on Casa Mia?
We can check on Casa Mia.
And because they've actually have a new facility
that just opened.
Yes, and that's a great facility. I had a chance to visit.
Yeah, I had my brother call in to see if they had any, if he could try to get me to get my information in there. So when I got out or anything, if I could go in.
Okay. If we can do that. And then do you need the contact information for Casa Mia?
Yes.
All right, let me write that down for you.
Program to they're helping me to try to get into some resources and stuff.
She also says that she's reached out to a program called Unlock.
Okay.
And I'd also put in for a referral to our Retreat Center as well.
Okay. And then with Casa Mia, if you contact CrossPoint, because CrossPoint does have some connections with Casa Mia, and then I'll try to get in touch with the people at CrossPoint to see maybe if they can get her in.
Okay.
All right, so you're going to remain in custody. We're going to see if we can get you transferred to Casa Mia. And I'm going to recall this in 14 days, just so we can keep track.
Okay.
Okay. All right, Ms. Ferguson, on this case, if we can have a phantom date in 14 days, and I say a phantom date because if Casa Mia is going to accept you, I don't want them to say, oh, she has a court date, we're not going to accept her. So it'll be in the system for us, and you'll know that you're coming back in 14 days. What date, Ms. Ferguson?
Right.
All right, so we'll bring you back on September 28th.
Okay.
And I'm glad now at the jail, the uniforms are being cleaned. No, we have completed Sturgis. Yes. So Mr. Sturgis, they should be taking you to Guadalupe County soon. All right. Thank you for your patience. All right, the people we have left, we need James Oltersdorf, Bridget Garza, Brent Hardy, Lorraine Efron, Carolyn Whitland.
Carolyn Whitland's coming from Hayes County. She said she'll be here about 11.
All right, and who's the attorney for Fabian Cardenas?
I'm your judge. Sorry.
Ah, all right, thank you. And then Michael DeLeon, you're still working on Christian Smith?
You're conferring with the state Might have a resolution.
All right, thank you. And then it's not 11 yet for the compliance hearings?
Is there one on Zoom?
No. Okay. All right, I'm going to take a short break. Okay, just give me a second. Hello? Fine, this is a daughter.
Oh, hey. Oh, okay. Are we silent? Yeah. Yep. Which always. You don't get it at the window. Oh, it's a one. Yeah, we don't. No. No. You have to put your room on. Yeah, the window. Okay.
All right.
All right, everyone, please be seated. Pedro Matamoros. Mr. Otistor, what happened to your leg?
I bent it back too far, being lazy, being tall, you always have a tendency to overreach.
Mhm.
That's what I did.
Oh,
So, but this brace keeps it from bending back, like, when you're walking, so it doesn't
Mhm.
hurt and everything's great.
oh my gosh.
Mhm.
All right, this is for a PSI, correct?
Yes, Judge. We were here a week ago, maybe a little longer.
Mhm.
The probation officer brought it to the court's attention that the day we were here, which I believe was the 7th,
Yes, it was.
there was a scheduled mental health eval, and since he was here, that was not done, so we reset for today.
Okay. And let me just read that mental health evaluation. All right, so they're requesting that he be reviewed for DDRF.
Yes, Judge, I saw that. It's on the first line. So.
Yeah. All right, probation, how long will it take for him to be seen by DDRF?
There is, so that other evaluation for the civil for services, I believe it's set for 10/26, I believe I was calling it. He has to go through all of those evaluations first.
All right. I see now, 10/26. All right, so the state is actually silent on your application. I think it will be best for you for me to have the update on DDRF for me to make a decision on your application. Do you understand? So there are some issues with your I don't want to say issues, but there are mental health concerns. And I want to make sure those addressed. And once I'm given an idea of what mental health help is available for you, then it will help me make a decision on whether or not to grant your application. Do you understand?
So yes or no? Yes, ma'am.
All right, so we're going to bring you back. Your evaluation is on October 26th, and it's just the process. And I will tell you this, I know that sometimes people say it's a long time for me to be waiting to get these evaluations done. But whether you get this evaluation or not, time is going to pass. If I make a decision to send you to prison, time will pass. The thing about it is the time that is passing now if I decide not to grant your application, it will count towards your sentence. But I want to make sure that I have all the information I need to make an informed decision on your application. You understand?
Yes.
Oh. All right, so Ms. Ferguson, can we set this after October 26th, please? November 2nd? Well, we can set that on my birthday. Okay.
That might be a good idea. I'm behind that idea.
All right, we'll bring you back on November 2nd.
Yeah, I think that's ours. Why don't you keep that? Okay, can you just keep that? Sure. Yes, I.
All right, who's here on Ariel Reyes?
He's not here. I put an email.
All right.
He's in
All right, so has he been brought out? If you'll come forward, please. All right, your attorney is out ill. So Ms. Ferguson, can you email the attorney and see if maybe next week he'll be available by Zoom? That way his client doesn't have to wait in custody if he feels up to it. So are we able to recall this for the 21st?
yes, ma'am.
All right.
If Grant's available.
All right. So we're going to recall it for the 21st. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right. We'll see you then. And tell Mr. Hardy he can appear by Zoom.
Via Zoom as well.
Yes, we can have him by Zoom. No, probation is saying no. So the defendant can be in the courtroom.
Brent,
No, we'll work it out. All right, are the persons here for compliance?
Your Honor, is everyone on Zoom?
No.
Ms. Garcia's here,
All right, can I see the phone?
waiting for her counselor to appear on Zoom. I'll reach out to the counselor right now.
All right.
Filing the other one.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Your approach, runner?
Yes.
This is on the bond of conferred with the state.
All right, if you all will sign off on this.
Yes.
Yes. And I'm going to require as a condition that he do sober meetings.
Okay.
And Ms. Ferguson, if you can make sure this has a setting.
Yes, ma'am.
Christian Smith.
Have an update for the court judge.
All right, and yes, what is your update?
I was appointed to Mr. Smith, last sitting.
Yes.
We have spoken to the district attorney's office. We're going to be doing pretrial diversion.
Okay.
Once 2 classes are completed, the case will be dismissed. And we just need a little bit more time to get those classes done.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, can I have a PTD date, please?
Yes, ma'am.
No problem. How old are you?
22.
I can do October 19th.
You're going to have to start making better decisions in your life. You understand? What are you doing with your future?
I'm just working. I'm working at a restaurant, so I can take over the family restaurant in Arkansas.
Sorry, do what?
Oh, my bad. Currently working at a restaurant. so I
No,
can build
your
it.
mistake, not my bad.
My mistake.
Okay.
I'm currently working at a restaurant to build my background, so I can take over the family restaurant in Arkansas.
All right, so there's a family restaurant in Arkansas? And what type of food do they have?
Barbecue.
Is it good barbecue?
It's kind of low.
I would love it.
It's Arkansas barbecue though, isn't it?
Okay, so are you planning on going to live back in Arkansas?
And 6 more months to the job I'm at, so I can build my experience.
Why, are there no restaurants in Arkansas to build your experience?
My cousin wants me to do it down here. He just doesn't want me to go all the way up there and then be like, oh, I don't love it anymore, and then just come back for no reason.
All right, and is this your first cousin?
Yes, ma'am.
And are your parents are aware of this? Where are your parents?
My mom's actually at work right now, but she's aware of it.
Okay, and is she in San Antonio? So all your other family is here in San Antonio?
Just my grandmother, my grandpa, and a few of my aunts.
Okay. How far did you go in school?
I graduated.
All right. You know, they have plenty of classes that you can take at San Antonio College, Monte Vista, all these different places to give you a little bit more background in restaurant business. And I think they have some classes that are free. So you wouldn't be in any debt and you'd have more knowledge.
We should Google that.
Yes.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
All right. Well, we'll see you back on October 19th. Just sign the reset form and you're excused.
All right, thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Aaron Alvarado.
Yes, Judge, I'm present.
All right. So where are we on this case?
Judge, we received an offer.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. We received an offer.
Mhm.
But we're declining the offer at this time. It's my understanding that the state of Texas hasn't had any contact with the complainant.
All right. Did you receive an offer today?
Yes, we did.
All right, Mr. Alvarado, I'm going to give you a plea deadline date. And so what that means is after that date passes, the court is not going to accept any plea bargain agreements without good cause. Otherwise, you have to appear plea open to the court. Do you understand? So there is no, we're declining an offer at this time. And then if the state ends up having their complainant and their complainant comes in and you say, oh, now I would do an offer. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so
Judge, also, I'd like to also file a motion to set a bond on, looks like he has an evading arrest case, but on that case, he doesn't have a bond. He's remanded without bond on that case.
Okay.
I'm not sure why he was never, why there was, he was never set a bond on that case.
all right, I don't know anything about that case. Has that case been indicted or no?
He hasn't been indicted on that case.
All right, so Norma, in this case, we're going to do a plea deadline date and call this back for next week for a plea deadline date. And Criminal Trial Division, if you want to look into this evading case that he has, so you can discuss it with his counsel. It's Aaron Alexander Alvarado. And what date for next week, Ms. Ferguson?
21st.
All right, so September 21st is going to be your plea deadline date. After that, the court will not consider any plea bargain agreements without good cause. Otherwise, you have to plead open to the court. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, thank you. And the state is going to see if they can pull up some information on the other case.
Just have a seat, sir.
Clayton Russell. All right, this is a motion to revoke. Are you all prepared to proceed on it?
No, Your Honor.
All right.
Your Honor, we've made an offer. The defense attorneys asked me to review some of the body cam footage. This is a drug case. We don't have the drug labs back yet. We are talking about a plea or maybe maybe I'll do some more. If I can review the videos, that might change the plea offer. I know defense is interested in getting a bond set. I don't think you have a bond set yet. I don't know if that's something that we can do now or we need to get an exception for that.
All right, if you'll file a motion for a bond set, the court will set a bond.
Okay.
All
So
right.
I guess before we would be able to proceed on the MTR, if we were going to proceed on the new number one judge, we would need the drug lab. But we don't have that back yet.
When is that going to come in?
Maybe 60 days.
Yeah, well, there are other allegations within the motion other than that. All right, Ms. Ferguson, can you set this for a contested, please?
October 12th.
All right, October 12th will be your contested hearing date.
And the bond?
Hmm?
And the bond?
Your attorney will file a motion and then the court will hear it. You're welcome.
Judge, the bond. Will that be heard here or in magistrate?
You can have it heard with Judge Nahara or either with the magistrate judge.
Okay.
I think that will be quicker, maybe.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, let me know when we're ready on Joanna Garcia. No.
Okay.
trying to get in contact with the
Okay.
Bristol Alvarado Reyes. Yeah.
It's October 12th. You can text it MTR. I'll let you know when bond hearing is set. No, the one with that. That's party. Oh. That one pays. You know. Judge.
Yes.
On Aaron Alvarado, you gave.
Yeah.
You gave the plea deadline on the 21st. Can I return on the 25th instead of the 21st? Is that okay?
Let me see the file on Alvarado. All right, Norma, can you put this on the 25th?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Great. Thank you, Judge.
you're welcome.
The council didn't answer the phone. I'm just in an email.
Mhm.
I don't know if you need to call it.
Let me see. All right, do we know, is she in St. PJ, at St. PJ's now?
Yes. You started the process already.
All right, because that was my concern. Whether or not she was actually enrolled.
She's moved.
And do you know, is she doing well in the program?
I don't. I did speak with the officer. I emailing back and forth, and he said that she is already enrolled in counseling. The UA that she attempted on 9/7, she attempted 3 times in the morning, wasn't able to start back a sample. She came back in the afternoon and we came back diluted. Otherwise, the latest UA on 8/18 was diluted and the last negative was on 7/6.
All right, Ms. Garcia, if you'll come forward.
He also states that her last portable alcohol monitoring device did not report any violation. The last report did not report any violations.
All right, if you take a UA today, what are the results going to be?
The clean.
All right,
And my last UA came out diluted because I couldn't go pee in the morning. So I drank only 1 soda and I had to go to a doctor's appointment for my son. So it was at 1:30 and I finally had to go at that time. So for me not to not be able to go again, I took another soda And I'm guessing that's why he came out.
All right, are you able to do a UA now?
Yes.
All right, so let's do a UA now and see where we are. Okay.
There's been excuse.
Yes, have a great one.
See you. Bye-bye.
All right, where's the attorney on Fabian Cardenas? All right. What is happening with this case?
That's what referring on this case. Let Mr. Barno, Brittany Mitchell's handling the lead on this. He does have a pending, a new case pending and still awaiting indictment of this case. It does involve significant media attention. So we're trying to reach a global resolution to this.
Okay, because you know I don't care about media attention.
Absolutely.
I'm going to make my ruling based upon what I have before me. Did I see the file on Fabian Cardenas, please? All right. So he has this case, which is, he's on, I guess, probation for evading. What is the new case?
It's an endangering of a child. Your Honor.
All right, so when are you all going to have that information? Because this motion to revoke, there is other allegations besides the endangering a child. So why can't we proceed?
Your Honor, I've been made aware that it doesn't, that prior to indicting this case, it would involve a conversation with our supervisor. I don't know if that conversation has been made or had been had at this point. So that's basically what's holding up.
Who's the supervisor?
With Mrs. Power.
All right, they need to come down then and supervise. Because this has been reset since July 20th of 2023. And how long has this allegation of endangering been out there?
May 6th, Your Honor.
All right, so technically, we've been waiting since May of 2023 for a supervisor. So that's May. I'm not even going to count May. June, July, August, September, 4 months. So I'm going to set this for a contested. It's going to be set in October and it's going in October. So whatever supervisor is doing whatever, they need to do something by that time. All right, Ms. Ferguson, I need an October date for a contested hearing on Fabian Cardenas. Okay, October 19th. All right. And when I said I don't care about the media, I think media is great to keep citizens informed, but my decisions are not based upon popularity or my decision is not based upon whether a case is in the media or not. My decision is based upon whatever evidence is brought to me, and I make a decision based on that. That's why when you have jurors, you tell them all your evidence that you receive is supposed to come from inside the courtroom, not what everybody else is saying. All right.
Understood.
All right. So we'll give you a reset form for October 19th.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Okay. Sir, who are you waiting for?
Lawyer's not here. She told me it's gonna get into reset, but she hasn't.
Who's your attorney?
Carolyn.
Yes.
No, she said she's gonna be here at 11, but she's driving him from here.
All right.
She
So
didn't tell me she was gonna be here.
Norma, that case is being recalled for tomorrow. And she needs to be here at 9 a.m. They're going to give you a reset for tomorrow. Should I see that file? Yes, Gabriel Gobert. We'll give you a reset form. See you tomorrow at. Yes, they're going to give you a reset.
I'll call him in a minute. I need to write it out.
Okay. Yes,
Is there a reason why it's tomorrow or,
your attorney is not here.
okay, she's not here?
No, she's not here.
Okay.
And we're starting a jury trial. All right, so everyone, we are going to